All right, so let's jump right back into this. Let's talk about the order of operations. So Java does actually experience normal order of operations, PEMDAS. Parentheses, which is just done with standard parentheses. Exponent, which is done by math.power. Then you would enter the number that you want and the exponent that you want it to get raised to. Multiplication, which is just the standard asterisk. Or modulo, which is essentially remainder. So you could lump this in with division. I just put it here just for readability purposes. They both start with M. Uh, but essentially, modulo, what it will do is if I take a number, 5 mod another number, mod is for short, it'll actually give me the remainder of those two, or whatever's left over after I've done the division. So 5 divided by 3, 3 goes into 5 one time, and there's still 2 left over. So that'll be the output of that. And it has its uses and applications, which we'll talk about later. Division, standard backward slash, addition, plus sign, minus, subtraction sign. So let's do an example of this. So let's say we wanted to well, we'll make another variable too for simplistic purposes. So double total, well, we'll say result. It's just more of a general term. So result equals new double. Um, and we want 2 new double, take whatever the user's entered, divided by 3, add 4, and then multiply by 3. So what is this going to do? Let's assume the user enters 3 for their, or we'll make it easier, 6 for their input. So I know we've discussed how if you enter an integer here, it won't actually do it correctly. It'll give you the truncated version of that number. But in our case, since we have double as our variable, this will actually take, this will keep continuing to deal with decimals. So result, if this was an integer, right, if I decided to make this an integer, it would do the whole operations in the form of decimals. Granted, it's going to throw an error, but it would do the whole operation in form of decimal and then truncate and store in a result. But because I am throwing a double into it, there is an assignment issue that's happening here. So it's going to tell you I can't convert from double to int. So that's why that doesn't work. But in our case, not too concerned about it. We know we're going to store a double into a double or an integer into an integer or whatever it is, you know. I think you can convert from an int to a double. Like if this was an integer, you could store that in the form of a double. So let's say let's try that. New int, and we want to do computer freezing, not responding. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So this will work, right? Double result is still a double, but you know we've changed this to be new integer instead of new double. So it'll do all the operations from an integer and convert it to a double. That's a totally legal action. Converting from a double to an integer without manually explicitly changing it somehow in the code will not work. So what would we expect here for 6? 6 divided by 3 would be 2, plus this will actually happen first. This 4 times 3, which would be 12. So 2 plus 12 is 14. So that would be what we would expect. So let's then print out to the user result. All right, so run this. We say 6, and we get 14, which is exactly what we thought would happen. If we wanted to do an exponent, we can also do that. So we can take, result equals result divided by 7, which we know the answer is going to be 14, assuming we've entered 6. And then we can take that new value of 2. Okay, result equals math.power of the result, the thing that we now have as the value 2, and we can raise it to the 4th. So raising to the 4th power. So throw a semicolon there to end that, and then we print result. So we would think that this would be, let's see, 2, 4, so 16. We would expect the answer to be 16 from this. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So let's see, enter 6, and the result is 16. So it actually did do the math.power as we expected to. Now let's try a modulo just for completionist sake. So let's divide by something odd, because as an even number, the 16, it won't divide by an odd number evenly. So let's go ahead and do result equals result mod 5. What would we expect this to be? I mean, again, I don't want to seem like this is too easy, but I just want to cover the basis for everybody in case, any level is watching this video. So 16 divided by 5 is going to go 3 times into 16, gives you 15, and you have a remainder of 1. So we would expect the sys out of result to be 1. So let's run this, enter a number, we give it 6, and we get 1. Exactly what we expected. And you can format this to not print a 0.0 afterwards. We can do that by doing a formatted print and allowing it a certain amount of decimal places. There are some other tricks, but not as important. I just want to cover the basics. Thank you guys for watching.